Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Tuesday, the 26th of June. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, we're in this bit of a upward trend at the moment, one would argue, on the short term. Last 3 days at least. This fourth day where we've put in a new high, just run into 34 on the dailies there, which corresponds with the 4 hourly 200, the weekly R1, so bit of resistance around that sort of area. Now it's a case of whether it's going to continue. It's up until now it's been putting higher lows in, higher highs in the main. I mean, we had this consolidated phase yesterday where it looked like at one stage it was going to roll over, which it nearly did, but didn't. So at the moment, still trending more positively. Obviously today now we're sitting there just not far from the daily pivot, so about 16 pips away. If it starts breaking through this 60.21, maybe we'll see a move down to that daily pivot. Now this is the pivotal area, as in whether it bounces from this level or if it starts breaking through. If it starts breaking through, well, next sort of levels then you'd be looking at the S1 and then down towards this 60-minute 200, not forgetting yesterday's lows there. So there are a few points which may just give targets if you did start getting short, but as I say, at the moment trend is up. We may just see a bounce off that daily pivot, so traders beware. Okay, looking at the pound dollar then, and the pound, well, this morning we've got at 10, we've got a couple of the members of the Monetary Policy Committee speaking, and they're testifying to the Treasury Select Committee in London, so we could see some volatility between 10. I think it runs through to 11. It may be a bit later, but there'll be at least 2 speakers. There may be more that will be testifying at that meeting. So be prepared for volatility on the pound between post 10 o'clock through this morning. So looking here, got a good pitch off its weekly pivot yesterday, but not managed to get much above, and it's consolidated throughout the Asian session, selling off at the moment. Unlike the euro, less of it. It was more of a downward trend with a spike up on the news last week, and then it's just been sort of not pushing up particularly strong since then. So we'll see if it, I say on the news on the voting last week, we'll see if it rolls over here. Looking at the 60-minute time frame, much flatter. The large traders' sentiment is very much more negative on the pound, but it's getting that way on the euro as well. But we'll see how this rolls out here. But at the moment, looking like it has the potential to push on through towards the S1, maybe even further to that weekly pivot with yesterday's lows. S1 of course would come with just below the bodies there, so if you was just looking at that sort of the short-term targets, that may be it. Okay, dollar yen. Dollar yen's been, it managed to stall here, but it's quite a choppy. It's in a very tight range. It's not a lot in the way of options that are sporting anything or have sport anything over the last week or so, but all the same, it seems that we're seeing more and more. I'm just looking now for what orders are open this morning, but seeing that consolidation phase. Yeah, nothing on the yen of any significance at all there, so little in the way in the yen in terms of orders options, which may stifle things, so we'll just watch what's going on here. The sentiment was bullish for the dollar, US dollar stroke yen. We're seeing this consolidation here. This is pretty untradeable in real terms, isn't it? It's just up and down, chopping along. If it can start breaking out, maybe above that daily pivot, maybe it will run back towards the R1 there, and get a bit bullish again, but as I say, very tight, very choppy, very uncertain. Okay, Aussie dollar. Now consolidating again is, I mean, inside day yesterday, today, well, there's not much of a clue. There's little in the way of news that may affect it. It's just hand railing that 4 hourly 50. It looks like at some point it may want to shove on through it, but if it fails here, well, looking back towards the weekly S1s, maybe those prior lows there. Just looking from a 60-minute point of view, look with the daily pivots on here, and it maybe I'll put a trend line on here. Just pop the trend line across the lows here, and if it breaks this sort of level, maybe there'll be just another step down. I mean, they're not massive steps here either, so much more of a swing-in trade rather than a intraday trade on the Aussie dollar. So that's that. And finally the Canadian dollar. Let's have a quick look here. Again, inside day yesterday tried to push up further, didn't manage, but we'll see. It's just such a, I mean, for a lot of last week and even the beginning of this week, it's just sitting there. I mean, for quite a number of days now, it's just in a predominantly a choppy trend here, or choppy sideward price action. Sometimes it's going to break out, of course, and I'm sure there'll be traders trying to catch the breakout, and still with the sentiment, etc., it looks like it may push to the upside, and the sentiment, etc., look at the trend. It was upside. It just looks like it's consolidating around this phase here, but it does look like at some point it will push to the upside, but it does drift for many hours and can leave you stranded. Okay, that's pretty much it for me. Other news, just so I should finish off on the other news there is some US consumer sentiment coming out 3 this afternoon. That's pretty much it in our trading zone. There's an FOMC speaker at 6 p.m, but he's just, well, I say just, but he's due to speak at the Birmingham Civil Rights Institute, but I don't expect a lot of volatility for the forex markets coming from that speech. That's it for me. Have a great one. Bye for now.